Why people voted for Brexit in the first place.
There is no fees without champagne,
so you can gladly keep your ring.
We're taking all our French words back.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Jake from Just Jake. Today, we're going to delve into exactly why people voted Brexit in the first place. Why certain demographics of people voted for Brexit compared to other demographics of people. Basically, why the mongrels of society voted for something and the upper class gentlemen of the gentry didn't vote for Brexit. We're going to delve into why that was, why that divide happened. And we're going to look into a report into which its key findings found that basically Mongols voted for Brexit. And why? As you know on this channel, I voted for Brexit in a very last minute split decision. And I've spent my time since the Brexit vote, since the Brexit deal went through. Can you describe it as going through swiftly and softly and smooth? No. Okay. I have come to regret my decision, like many other people, and I'm now on a journey of self-retrospectiveness and self-awareness, and I'm trying to correct my mistakes. I'm trying to make sure that I do make correct voting intentions in the future and make sure that the reasons why I vote are backed up by due diligence. Now, we're going to dive into a report about why people voted Brexit. Let's go. Let's go. This is the Brexit vote explained, poverty, low skills and a lack of opportunities. The report provides an unprecedented insight into the dynamics of the 2016 vote to leave the EU, showing how a lack of opportunity across the UK led to Brexit. Devoting specific attention to data on the roles of poverty, place and individual characteristics driving the leave vote, this report shows how Britain was divided along economic, educational and social lines. We've done a video about this already on the channel. We focused a lot on austerity and the David Cameron and Nick Clegg years and how austerity basically was a pathway to Brexit, a pathway leading to people voting for Brexit. In the aftermath of the vote, few studies have considered both individual and area level drivers of the vote to leave the EU. This report reviews existing research, examines new data and considers implications for the wider debate. Now, the key findings. The poorest households with incomes of less than £20,000 a year, so basically where I live, Skegness and Boston and so forth, much more likely to support leaving the EU than the wealthiest households, as were the unemployed, people in low-skilled and manual occupations, people who felt that their financial situation has worsened, and those with no qualifications. Ta-da-da. Groups vulnerable to poverty were more likely to support Brexit. Age, income and education matter, though it is educational inequality that was the strongest driver. Other things being equal, support for leave was 30 percentage points higher amongst those with GCSE qualifications or below than it was for people with a degree. In contrast, support for leave was just 10 points higher among those on less than £20,000 a year than it was amongst those with incomes of more than £60,000 a year, and 20 points higher among those aged 65 and those aged 25. Support for Brexit not only between individuals but also between areas. People with all levels of qualifications were more likely to vote leave in low-skilled areas compared with high-skilled areas. However, this effect was stronger for the more highly qualified. In low-skilled communities, the difference in support for leave between graduates and those with 20 GCSEs was 20 points. In high-skilled communities, it was over 40 points. In low-skilled areas, the proportion of A-level holders voting leave was closer. Holders voting leave was close to that of people with low skills. In high-skill areas, their vote was much similar to graduates. Groups in Britain who had been left behind. That's a word we hear often. Those who were left behind by rapid economic change and feel cut adrift from the mainstream consensus were the most likely to support Brexit. These voters faced a double whammy. Whilst their lack of qualifications put them at a significant disadvantage in the modern economy, they are also being further marginalised in society by the lack of opportunities that faced in their low-skilled communities. This will make it extremely difficult for the left behind to adapt and prosper in the future. And guess what, folks? Brexit made it even easier for you, made it even better for us low-skilled communities and all those manual workers to make it higher on the ladder of life. No, it didn't. Brexit only made things worse, and they knew that. They knew it would make it worse. You know what? You're feeling left behind, you've got no money in your communities. Let's pull out a crap load of funding from the EU and make your lives even worse. Let's give even more control to a government who doesn't give a flying fuck about you. 2016 vote to leave the EU marked a watershed moment in the history of the United Kingdom. When all votes had been counted, 52% of those who voted had opted to leave the EU, a figure that increased to almost 54% in England. The figures for Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland varied at 38, 52.5 and 44% respectively. Across 393 local authorities, support for leave surpassed 70% in 8 authorities, 60% in 102 and 50% in 263. In England, the share of the vote for leaving ranged from nearly 76 in Boston. We had one of the highest leave votes in the entire country where I live, compared to 21% in Lambeth in London. Like Boston, many local authorities that recorded some of the strongest support for Brexit are struggling in areas where average incomes, education and skill levels are low and there are few opportunities to get ahead. Authorities that recorded some of the highest levels of support for Brexit include the working class communities of Castle Point, Great Yarmouth, Mansfield, Ashfield, Stoke-on-Trent and Doncaster. In such communities, the types of opportunities and life experience contrast sharply with those in areas that are filled with more affluent, highly educated and diverse populations, which gave some of the strongest support to remaining in the EU, such as Islington, Edinburgh, Cambridge, Oxford and Richmond upon Thames. Isn't that a shocker? Isn't that a shocker that it's ironic? It's ironic that the struggling communities for, you know what, I'm going to make my life better by voting for Brexit. Brexit will surely make my life better. It did not. It would only ever make things worse. I know that now. And like I said, I was very close to voting Remain on the day, but I made a split decision, a wrong decision to vote Leave on the day. And the geography of the vote has sparked a debate about a divided Britain in which many have traced the votes for Brexit to economically disadvantaged and low-skilled left-behind communities that amid a post-industrial and increasingly global economy are struggling to keep pace with high-skilled areas. But to what extent is this interpretation supported by data? What motivated the vote to leave the EU? And what role did poverty and place play in these decisions? So, to finish off the video, the disadvantaged, the economically inept, the intellectually challenged, the deprived, the perpetually deprived people of Lincolnshire were some of the highest voting Brexit voters. Why did they vote Brexit? Mainly because we are all surrounded by farmland here in Lincolnshire. We only grow carrots and potatoes. That's why apparently we voted Brexit, because we are intellectually challenged and economically fucked. Economically fucked in the most part by the Conservatives due to a lack of funding into any of the parts around us. It is true, our wages are crap. Our house prices are low. But if you do somehow become a YouTube mastermind, a YouTube entrepreneur, maybe people like me can get ahead and buy a nice house in the countryside. Not like you Londoners with your super high, mega high house prices. Just saying. So yes, that is why people voted Brexit. Because we're thick and we have no money. That's it. End the video. Did you like the video? Then hit the subscribe button or watch some more videos. It helps me out with the YouTube algorithm and helps this channel grow. Thank you very much.